of a Plymouth Valiant at track meets. It was never about selling shoes. It was about selling shoes that made runners faster, stronger, better. We were obsessed with running because we were runners, and we wanted better shoes. And then, with the help of some hot rubber and waffle iron, it became, why not make them? And then it became, why not add air, run barefoot, experiment with springs and lunar foam, and place a chip in our shoes. We imagine and then make the most innovative, unthinkable, crazy running gear, all because we believe in the run. The run taught us and continues to teach us, and it doesn't just teach us about running. It turns I think I can into I know I can, into I just did it, and we'll do it again. Run moves us all forward, and we believe in Olympic dreams, state championships, world records, and leading from the front with guts, as much as we believe in the first run, the lunch run, the run to clear your head, and the run to feel strong, the run with a friend, and the run after a breakup or a hangover. We believe running is great for all of us, not some of us, and that we all can become whatever we choose if we just run toward it. We're going to be there for every runner, from first to the corner to first to a world record, making them faster, stronger, and why not even better people. Because when it comes to getting better, nothing is more powerful than the power of the run.
So, good afternoon and welcome everyone. As the VT said, 40 years ago we were obsessed with running because we were runners. Well, we're still obsessed with running at Nike because we still are runners. And our philosophy and mission to create the product and innovation that make athletes faster, better and stronger is very much at the heart of everything we do. And in particular when it comes to natural motion and Nike Free, it was the driving force behind the creation of this concept. So I want to take you on a little journey on the original concept and the original insight for Free. So it was over a decade ago when a team of running designers from Nike went and observed athletes training in California at Stanford University. They noticed that they were running barefoot to warm up and cool down. And when they asked the coach, Vince Lanana, why they did this, it was simple. He felt that athletes that trained their feet were stronger and would perform better. And the line of thought and thinking wasn't new because, great pioneers in running like Arthur Lydiard in the late 60s also talked about if you constrain a foot or you constrain something, you're going to ultimately make it lazy and weak. Whereas if you extensively train it, a muscle or group of muscles, it will get stronger. So a simple insight that really gave birth to three talented individuals, some of the most creative at Nike, set on a mission of creating this product that mimicked the benefits of barefoot running, not barefoot running itself, but the benefits of barefoot running with appropriate level of cushioning and support. So they set up on their mission, and their mission was to obsess natural motion. So they studied in the sports research and out in the field to really obsess that how could you get a shoe that for the runner is less about the shoe but more about you in the sense of the runner. How could you create a product that amplified the natural running foot strike and the natural running style? How could you get a shoe that would work with the foot versus against the foot? That was the simple premise that they obsessed. And there were many prototypes. There's some very early prototypes that were created as part of the design and iteration process. Very, very much in the extreme of barefoot running. It wasn't a place that we went to, but it was a place that showed us what was possible, and we learned a lot of where we could go to. So the real kind of aha moment came when one of the lead designers, Toby Hatfield, took a last, and many of you are familiar with the last. It's the shape around which the shoe is stretched to form its ultimately its form, its fit, and its identity. So he took a last, pass it around, and he simply started to painstakingly over the days. He made it out of foam. He started to cut it and cycle it, and it really started to turn into this fluid form. And that really was the form and the behaviour of the properties in this last that moved. It was really the creation point for how we created the shoe, and in particular the midsole. So the premise was, how do you awaken the foot? How do you get these previously unused intrinsic muscles, about a third of them in a conventional product, to really be ignited in a way. How can you get all those intrinsic muscles to work? So by making the outsole midsole really, really flexible, by painstakingly looking where you could put those cuts, or sipes as we call them, you could really start to look at ways of igniting the foot. This is an early sketch. You can start to see where those sipes were placed. We started to think about the last itself. How do you make it more anatomical so there's greater toe splay, particularly when pushing off? About midsole height. Traditionally, running shoes Nike had a heel-to-toe differential or offset of 12 millimeters. We started to lower the offset to put the foot in a more neutral, natural position. We started to look at more sculpted and rounded heels to make sure that it really cut the heel and really gave a great amount of support. So all these thoughts and processes went into creating some of the first midsole prototypes. We started to think about the flex groove. Typically on our shoes, they followed the third, fourth and fifth met heads. Here we focus more on the first met head, which was incredibly important in natural running where there was greater propulsion. So there's a first example of how we try to create these sipes, where to place them. So not too flexible in its design. So then we started to hot knife. So it's like a knife that goes through butter in this material. The material we used wasn't a conventional compressed molded EVA Phylon. We mixed it with rubber to create Phylon. So then you didn't need as much carbon rubber, but it was very durable. So then by hot knifing it, you started to get this real flexible midsole that really mimicked the natural motion of the foot. So the first midsole was born, this incredibly fluid, articulated midsole, but it still provided the optimum amount of cushioning and support that the runner needed. So part of any of our design process is a thorough testing process, and we test internally within Nike. But as you were referenced today when Stefan Grau presented to you, we also did some research with the University of Cologne under the guidance of Dr. Brueggemann. And back in 2003, when this was tested, we found significant results in terms of improvements of runners that trained in free and ran in free, had stronger feet, they were more flexible and a better balance. So it was incredible, insightful proof for us that this product actually did lead to stronger athletes, more flexible athletes and a better balanced athlete as well. So then the original shoe, 2004, was born. It was ahead of its day. It was unconventional. I mean, it did really start to rewrite the rules of how running shoes were designed at Nike. And not only has it revolutionized natural motion as a segment itself, it's also permeated throughout our product in terms of designing for natural motion and natural movement as well. So, fast forward 9 years. What have we done since then in those 9 years in terms of innovating and bringing new benefits and new technologies and new innovations to our current line in summer 13? I think that's what the weather in summer should look like on that slide. So, 3 was never just one shoe. It was meant to be an ecosystem.